Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us on this little chat again for the Essex UFO and Paranormal group. I always get it mixed up. I usually say Paranormal and UFO group because I used to introduce my radio program. It was the Paranormal Dimensions. But anyway, don't worry about all that. But I'm having a chat today with John Gregory. Now, if you're a visitor to the group meetings, sometimes you might see John floating about. He's usually on the other side of the coffee bar and the tea bar, dishing out coffees and teas, or helping out doing that. And apart from other things that he does, but it's always nice to get people on to talk about their own little experiences and their interests and stuff. Where I was talking to John, and sometimes people don't like getting in front of audiences. And I mean, I don't like speaking in front of people, to be honest. But this is a reason why I do this show. It gives people a chance to have a chat with other people outside and give and tell their experiences. And anyone seeing this, if you're interested in coming on and telling us about your interests and experiences, please get in touch with me. I'll say it again at the end of the show if I don't forget. But you can always grab me at the conferences and the meetings and say you'd like to come on and we can sort it out, right? If you got things to say, but you might not like to talk in front of a lot of people. That's what I'm here for. Anyway, so here we go with John Gregory. Hello, John.
Hi, David. Glad to be here,
Right,
I
it's nice
think.
to see you. It's been a hot and sweaty week, or a hot and sweaty couple of weeks, but
Well, yeah. So I was out walking today, walked about 12 miles.
have you?
It's really lovely. Good thing was it was partly shaded, so it wasn't too hot.
Yeah. Oh no,
Yeah,
I wouldn't. I don't like to say it's been too hot, but it has been kind of too hot sometimes. We're not even in summer yet, but
I know.
anyway, we're not going to go into the global warming and all that sort of stuff because I'm not really into that anyway. But anyway, John, what kind of got you interested in the paranormal in the first place?
Oh, good question. Well, I've always been interested in paranormal, and even as a young boy, I think when I heard about mysterious stories, I was always interested more than most other people. And I can remember even being at primary school, being interested in stuff that most people weren't, and you don't really understand then. But yeah, and then I had a quite religious upbringing, and I was brought up in the Catholic religion, and uh, yeah, some really good things about it, but there's also a lot of things I didn't agree with. And my dad wasn't Catholic; he was a really deep thinker as well.
Right.
And he read in the early 70s, he read the book Chariots of the Gods by
Oh,
Eric
right.
von Däniken.
Yeah.
And he gave it to me to read. And that really got me interested on that type of thing. I mean, I was only about 11 at the time, 11, 12. Um, and so when one of my cousins started going visions and messages from spirit around about the millennium, and took a while. I didn't know much about it for about 18 months until I hadn't seen her for many years. And when I did finally catch up with her, and we started talking about what she'd experienced. Um, and it was kind of a lot of things that it was saying was what I was already thinking along those lines anyway. And so that really got me into investigating things further, all different topics. And I read many books about UFOs and about different dimensions and ancient history and ancient archaeology. Absolutely fascinating stuff.
Mm. And you probably
Uh,
found, as I have, that a lot of that stuff's all connected as well when you start looking deeply,
Absolutely, it
deeply into it.
absolutely is. Yeah, it totally is. And yeah, you read one book and it kind of has links with other subjects, and then you read a book on the next subject, and that's got links with others, and it's like a huge network in a way. And that's really been my vision for the future back then was to help to build, not say world, but in my own way, network with different groups and people. Um, we had like a family group. I think there were nine. Yeah, there were nine of us in the family at the beginning in 2001. We started coming together as a family group, once a month or so, and we'd meet at our aunt and uncle's house, and we'd do meditation, but like some very deep meditations.
Oh, really? As far as that, eh?
Oh gosh, yeah, and um, yeah, we'd had so many synchronicities happen to members of the family, and it was very deep, and it frightened some other people in the family off, and they were very rooted in the religion, and they went berserk, some
Hmm.
of them,
Hmm.
and
I mean,
yeah,
did you go through the teenage years of doing things like seances with the glass and all that sort of stuff, like many of us did in the early days?
well, yeah. I mean, I suppose like teenagers just mucking about. I remember in the lunch hour there was a group of about 6 or 7 of us, and in a class. I can't remember the exact words now, but they'd have someone on the table, someone volunteered to go on the table lying down, and we'd all gather around and go, oh, he or she looks pale, they are pale, look ill, they are ill, looks dead, they are dead, and then we'd like lift them up with one finger.
Oh
So
yeah.
how did that happen?
Yeah, I think I've never tried that one, but I've seen
Yeah,
it done and think, oh, I mean, how does that feel if you've done that? Does it feel like they're just all weightless?
I don't know. We just did it, and we didn't really think much about it. And I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get any anything negative coming. But well, I mean, we didn't really do it very seriously, like
Mm.
teenagers mucking about. Um,
Yeah, but I
but
mean,
yeah,
how do you explain something like that? I mean, because obviously, if you're lifting someone up with just a finger, and there's maybe how many of you? Half dozen, 8 or 9
there were
people.
about 6 or 7 of us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, you that shouldn't be possible, should it?
no, got
So
a whole
how
dead weight for someone.
so how do we explain that? I wonder.
Oh, I think there is kind of some people call it the field, or you could even in Christianity you could even call it the Holy Spirit. That is like an infinite power. It's like I guess it's a bit like the battery power of everything, the
Mm.
power behind the power in a way. And if you can link into that, then miracles can happen. And
Which takes us to if you want to go that far, into the pyramids. How
mm,
did they build the pyramids? Was it the same
yeah,
sort of thing with those great big hundreds of tons blocks of rock, which when you're taking it up high, okay, they get everywhere and everywhere as well. Not physically, but because of the weight getting them up there, they seem impossible to do, don't they? You
yeah,
know.
yeah,
Uh, I mean,
yeah. So
is that an alien technology or is it a natural technology, a natural occurrence? Otherwise, I know none of us are ever going to answer that, I don't suppose, but it
no,
does. It is food for thought, though.
oh, it really is. Yeah, yeah. I haven't really delved into the pyramids as a topic terribly deeply,
Well, I mean,
so I can't.
even such things as Stonehenge. I mean, the way they lifted those
Yeah,
big, any type of monolith or whatever you
yeah,
want to call them.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, it fascinates me. I mean, I know we can never answer it, but have you had like UFO experiences as well?
Yeah, I've seen about 7 or 8 different UFOs in my time, all since 2001, in fact, since all this started really happening with my family group and the meditation groups. That's when I started seeing the UFOs. Whether that's
Yeah, maybe your
how it
mind.
meant
Yeah,
to be.
they do say that your mind is kind of once your mind is open to things, you do start seeing stuff more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Well, I've seen about 7 or 8 UFOs. I've tried to list them all. I remember 7. I'm sure there were 8, but I can't remember the 8th one. Um, and 3 of them I've seen from home. The very first one I remember, it was a heat wave, and it was the summer of 2001. And I got home at 11:30 in the evening. Parked my car on my driveway, looked up, and there were 3 lights in a triangular formation in the sky, and they were just gliding slowly across the sky. Um, and in the middle of this triangle, I don't think it was opaque. I think I could see through it. So there were probably three separate craft, but were going in formation, absolutely exact formation, silent, totally silent. So I wondered if that could possibly be the satellite, but different people I've asked said no, they don't look like that. So I really don't think it was a satellite. So that was unexplained. Also from home one evening, it was only about 7 o'clock in the evening, I think. It was dark, and I looked out my bedroom window, and I could see three or four lights in the sky, looked like large stars. And when I looked closely, I got binoculars out and had a look, and sure enough, they were all hovering around one another, like they were doing maneuvers.
Hmm.
It was like craft doing maneuvers. They were changing positions and going around one another and over and under each other. Yeah, I watched it for a while, and they're still
Were,
there.
were there a particular colour of any description? Or were they just
No,
looking like stars?
they were just looking like stars,
Hmm.
but stars don't move around like that.
No, no,
So
didn't know. I mean, I can, yeah, I
yeah,
know. I've related my story from back in the 50s. Well, I might tell you about it in a minute, but carry on. I
oh,
don't want to
okay,
interrupt you.
okay. The other one I saw from home. That was actually probably the most amazing one out of the whole lot. And for some reason, since 2001, when all this started with my family, I don't know why. It's no logic to it, but I just associated in my mind UFOs somehow with Easter. And this
Really?
was, I don't know why.
Yeah.
And this was, I went to bed late. It was the Easter weekend. I went to bed. It was about 1:15 in the morning, coming into Easter Sunday, and I looked out my bedroom as I was going to bed. Looked out the bedroom window, and I thought, "Oh, there's the moon." I did a double take. Thought that's not the moon, and it was bright like the moon, but smaller, too small to be the moon. And it was hovering over the trees over the park. So looking southeast, I suppose towards Basildon, Wickford, and I thought, well, that is really strange. Um, Far too bright to be any star or anything like that. Far too low down as well, of the sort. And it just hovered, and I thought, I'm sure it moved. And so I noted the tree. It wasn't pitch dark, so I could see the trees from the park. And I noted where this thing was in relation to the tree. And then within 5 minutes, it had definitely moved almost to the next tree. So I thought it's definitely moving slowly. Then all of a sudden, there came about 8 or 9 different lights came out of this main light, and they all hovered around the big light, and they just all hovered there. And I thought, wow, this is a real UFO sighting. I
Hmm.
just thought if I get my camera or anything, I know it's going to go. So I just thought I'm just going to watch it and experience what there is. And these little lights hovered around the big light for about 10 more minutes, maybe less than that. And then within about 30 seconds, they all started to fade. And all these lights faded at the same rate. And within about 30 seconds, they just disappeared into black. So I think my take on that is I think it might have gone into another dimension.
Hmm.
That is my
Well, they
most,
do often do just disappear like that, don't they? I mean, I know the
yeah,
ones I've seen have been like that.
right.
Um, so it's obviously not a military, you wouldn't have thought, exercise of some sort.
Who knows?
Well, I mean, yeah,
I
I mean that's the trouble. Who knows nowadays? We don't know what they're up to, do we?
no, we
Behind the
don't know what's
scenes.
going on. I think the more you know, the more you realise you don't know. It just
Yeah.
never ends. Although, I wouldn't like not to have had the knowledge and experience I have,
Hmm.
but I think it terrifies too many people. So those are the three I saw from home. The other really good one was I was on a walk. I remember it was a Saturday walk, and it was September, probably about 15 years ago now. It's in the 2000s. And we were in Victoria Park in the East End.
I know that. Yeah.
So it was broad daylight. It was Saturday afternoon, partly sunny, partly cloudy. And I could see these metallic shapes in the sky. They're all different shapes. And I thought, well, that's really weird. I've never seen anything like that before. And it was looking east. And so I was saying to people, what's that? What do you reckon that is in the sky? And people just going, oh, I don't know, walking off. Oh, don't you want to know?
Yeah, people just don't care, do they? Yeah.
And so I took a photo and I did actually put it on Facebook. And it did go, it actually went to, oh gosh, What's that guy? He was an ex-policeman. He runs the magazine up in the north.
Oh, well, we don't mention him.
Yeah, it went to him. And if he's watching, I'm sorry, I didn't remember your name. And
Well, no, hang on, no, I mean, no, no, I don't want to be unfair. Is it Gary Heseltine? Do you mean him?
oh, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Gary has time.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, and Mark who ran the UFO group.
yeah.
Anyway, no one really knew what they were. So very strange that one. What else? I went on holiday once to the Greek island of Santorini, and we had some self-catering accommodation. It was inland, but you could see the sea. Uh, we'd only just arrived, and we'd gone out onto the balcony. It was a lovely warm evening, but it was dark, and there were these big amber lights appeared in the sky, and I thought, oh, that is that a flare from a ship or something, or is it, do they have that every night here? Or and it went this display. There must have been about three or four different places near to each other in the sky where they were appearing and disappearing. And this went on for about half an hour, and it suddenly stopped, and we didn't see anymore. We didn't see it the rest of the week. And it was only after I got home, and I think it was Mark from the UFO group said that's classic UFO sighting. Didn't you take a photo?
Mark Dalton is you mean, yeah.
Yes, yes. So no, I haven't had a photo of any of them, but I just think if you get your camera out and start shooting, it'll either your camera jams or
Yeah,
we oh we,
they just don't come out, do they?
no, no, we had a few of us had a little trip up to Scotland and we went to a particular I can't even really remember the whole story, so I won't go into it too much, but we got led to a particular graveyard up there and there was a particular grave that we found very interesting. I forgot to bring my camera that afternoon. And then everybody else's camera either jammed or wouldn't turn on, or no one got a picture of this thing. No one. Whatever anyone did, no one's photo would come
Mm.
out.
Well, that's
So
interesting alone, isn't it? That's a
very,
paranormal event. I mean, often they're known to like drain batteries and things, aren't they? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
maybe some. Yeah, I think one person's battery had run out,
Mm.
and someone else said the camera just jammed, wouldn't take it, repeatedly jammed. I forgot mine. Yeah, just didn't work. So very mysterious. Another UFO I saw was in Norway. And I just think this was really spiritual. I just got led to go on this trip for a week to the Norway fields. I went with a group of about 18 people, and we went on this self-catering chalets, and it was overlooking. It was about a mile trek up this field hillside, overlooking I think it was Zonia Field. I think it's the second biggest field in Norway. It was about 3 hours drive north of Bergen. And we decided one evening we'd try and manifest the Northern Lights. And some people, I think including me, about three of us said, oh, can we manifest a UFO? But everyone else wanted the Northern Lights. So that evening we tried the meditation. And then we thought, we just leave it. And nothing happened. So I went to bed. Well, about 12 midnight, people started yelping and yelling, and the Northern Lights appeared. Now, the villagers had said to us, "Oh, Northern Lights do appear sometimes, but they haven't appeared for about 6 weeks." And this particular night that we tried to manifest them, they did appeared and they got stronger and stronger. They were whizzing right across the sky, and it was amazing. That's the only time I've seen them.
Hmm.
And then not only that, after about half an hour, there was a dark. It wasn't quite pitch black because I suppose because of the long night. And over the field came this cloud, and it was in the shape of a classic UFO saucer shape. And and we just watched it glide over the field and over the next field. I thought, wow, what was that? What's that, a UFO in the shape of a cloud? Like
Yeah.
semi-cloak.
Well, that and with the Northern Lights added to that as well. I mean, and also it's not just you seeing it; it's other people seeing it as well.
Everybody saw it. I
Yeah.
know, about 18 people. And we sent out, our energy to manifest it, and it appeared that we had. So
So who
it worked.
knows? Was it well, yeah? Was it a coincidence or was it just?
Well, yeah, you never completely know, do you?
No. It's
But
yeah, interesting.
for all of that to both the Northern Lights and this UFO to appear is just amazing.
Hmm. I mean, I've heard that several times that you can actually summon them to appear. I mean, it's been
Yeah,
done by quite a few people, isn't it? You know,
yeah,
when I used to do my radio show, there was quite a few people that came on that could actually do that sort of stuff. I'll have to
yeah,
find some links to some of those shows.
yeah. So, well, any other? I think the only other one I managed to list was I was at Rendlesham. Actually, the least spectacular of all of them, really. I was in Rendlesham Forest. Well, it was probably nearly 20 years ago, and I was with Mark Dalton and a couple of others. And I did see just for a second, I saw this white light come and go, and then I think Mark saw it about 10 minutes later. Whether that was anything, I don't know. Could have
Well,
been
I've seen
coincidence.
stuff up there as well. And I used to be
Yeah,
walking around in sort of like in the like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning up there. We used to live up there, or
yeah.
I lived about 20 minutes away, and I became quite good friends with Brenda Butler, who was quite well
Oh
known
yeah,
for the
we met her up there a couple of
Sky
times. Yeah,
Crash, yeah.
yeah,
And Colonel Holt became a good friend of mine, believe it or not. But yeah, it's quite amazing. But yeah, we you were talking about lights moving in the sky. There was one night I was up there with Brenda. We were near Eastgate actually. I'm not sure if it was Brenda that saw it first, but we started seeing a star moving across and stopping and moving across and stopping. And as we watched that one moving across, there was another one coming up behind it, moving and stopping, moving and stopping. I think it was Brenda that saw it first actually. So was that a UFO? Well, it certainly wasn't stars moving, was it? But
wow,
but there's also a thing about orbs as well. I mean, I know a lot of people say no, there's no such things as orbs, and they're photographic anomalies. But when you see them with your naked eyes, which I've seen twice now up there, we were actually near the car park, and there was suddenly just at the bottom there was a red orb, and Brenda and I both saw it at the same time because she looked, and then she said to me, "You saw that as well, didn't you?" And I said, "Yeah." It was like a red orb that went across the bottom of the car park. And it wasn't a car light because there's nobody else up there. But I think we saw a blue one as well down one of the pathways. I saw
wow,
bouncing.
yeah,
So and that was about a camera. Apart from the ones I caught on camera, when you take loads of photos in the dark, most of them come out black, and all of a sudden you'll get a sequence of photos with orbs, if you want to call them orbs, and you can see the same orbs in different photos where they've moved position. You know, so who can explain that? I don't know. I can't. I really don't think that they're like moisture because you get it on every picture, moisture and
mm,
dust and everything, wouldn't you?
yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know if you've experienced anything like that with photographs.
No, not my own. No, I haven't. But yeah, I've seen people who have had that. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Well, so what as far as do you believe in ghosts and hauntings and things like that? Have you
yeah, I
ever been
always
on
have.
any ghost
Um,
hunts and things?
no, I don't. I tend not to go on anything like that. I haven't. No, I haven't been on any real ghost hunts. Um, but I think as a child and a young person, I was. quite scared. Everyone was, I suppose. You just taught to be scared, aren't you?
Yeah.
And uh,
Oh,
I was
I
really,
was. I mean, when I was little, I was absolutely terrified. And when we lived in London, we shared a house, and to go out to the loo, which was downstairs, there was one of those outside loose, type of thing. You had to go down where the other people lived, down these rickety old wooden stairs. It was pitch black, and you had to
oh
walk
God,
past where the coal cellar and all that. And I used to be absolutely terrified to go down there. Um,
yeah,
but you sort of get yourself. I sort of got myself into the. I sort of persuaded myself that there's nothing there in the dark that's not there in the daytime.
yeah.
Because it's just only it's the dark that is making you're scared sort of thing. I kind of got myself out of the fear of the dark, but in that way, probably by
Yeah.
about 10. So,
Well, I saw a young person. I was quite shocked to hear that my dad's mum, my grandmother, my dad's mum, she did see ghosts sometimes, and she wasn't scared of them either. And she was the
really,
most unlikely person that you'd
that's
think,
actually physically see them.
yeah. And she said, "Oh, I was shocked when she first said to me, oh, I've seen lots of ghosts." She said, "Yeah, I've seen them here in my house." No, and she had, and she used to see the previous occupier who'd passed over in the house. And she's always quite a kind old man. And she saw, I can't remember whether I think she did actually see her first husband who died, who was my real granddad. Um, and yeah, she'd seen a number of them, but she wasn't scared of them.
Wow.
And she was, she wasn't religious, but I mean, she did believe that in God, but
So,
she
so
was,
she must have been a medium then, really, that she didn't really
well, she probably was, yeah,
knew
but
it.
didn't realise it. Yeah. But
Oh.
she didn't go to spiritualist churches or anything. No.
So, I mean, obviously, she must have believed in the ghosts
And,
to have actually seen them, as well.
well, she must have done, yeah. And after she died, it's a very long story, and won't go into all the details because it's very personal. But my dad died very young as well. He died when I was 14,
Mm,
and my sister was 10. So it was just my mum, me, and my sister who lived together for a number of years. And yeah, I think it was about 3 or 4 years after my grandmother had died. So it's my mum's mother-in-law. My mum started hearing this breathing in her bedroom every Friday night. And I think my grandmother did die on a Friday night. And
mm.
she said, oh, it's over the months, it had been getting louder and louder. And she was getting absolutely terrified by it. And she'd gone to we were in Catholic religion, she'd gone to the Catholic priests, and I tried to poo-poo it and play it down. Oh, you've probably got a stream under your house. What? Nothing like that. And this was like really heavy breathing. And she didn't share it with me and my sister for a long time. It was only after we managed to get it out. We knew something was up, and we got it out of her. I thought, well, that's really strange because a few weeks before she told us, I remember going to bed. I was the last person to go to bed in the house, and it was a Friday night as well. And I could hear this really deep breathing. And I thought, oh, it's either my mum or my sister breathing really deeply when they've gone to sleep. Obviously, it was this ghost of my
Wow.
grandmother.
Wow.
Didn't realise. So yeah, but this is the power of that you can have, whether you are Christian or not, or whatever. But my mum was very deeply Catholic religious, and she said she prayed to Jesus to take her to heaven. And after she did that, this heavy breathing kind of stopped being heavy breathing, and she heard footsteps going right across her bedroom and out through the window, and it never came back.
Wow.
In a way, she kind of did an exorcism, not
Yeah.
actual exorcism, but she sent her soul to the light, I think.
Yeah, that's actually quite amazing.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
We've had
it's
some
like,
stories.
yeah. I mean, obviously by mentioning the name Jesus, I mean, I'm not religious at all, but I think there's a thing about intent, isn't there?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
a focus of intent, which can probably do these things. Yeah, she probably, like you say, she probably did a self-exorcism in that way
yeah,
by a direction of intent. That's all I would put it down to. But that's quite an amazing story.
yeah.
You should write a book, John.
I know. On these things, it's like, oh, at the time you think, oh, it's not really. Well, it is significant personally, but to other people it isn't.
Mm,
But when you get a whole series of them happen, when you look back on your life, you think actually there's been a lot of different things that have happened, and
yeah.
yeah, you don't always appreciate them all. Well, you do, but you don't always see the bigger picture at the time, I suppose.
Yeah, with all these experiences that people have in their personal ways, I mean, as you say, over the world, throughout the world, there's thousands and thousands of
Oh,
undocumented cases that go all the
absolutely.
time.
I often
You know,
think that if you think of everybody, 8 billion people or whatever it is in the world, how many people must be having these kind of experiences all the time? There must be, thousands of
mm,
people having these experiences all the time.
yeah, I mean, even if you put it to like 10% of that, you got 8 million people. You know, so it's an
Yeah,
amazing thing. I mean, you were talking
yeah.
about the first book that you got interested in, Chariots of the
Mm,
Gods. Um,
yeah,
that's
so that's
kind
sorry.
of that's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
was
what
saying,
did that's what did it for me as well, to be honest.
was it?
Yeah, because and I've been lucky enough to meet Eric von Däniken a few times as well since
All
then.
right.
He was a bit of a hero of mine all through my growing up years, and
Yeah.
a few years ago I had a chance to meet him on behalf of somebody to get a quote for a book, and from then on I met him a few more times after that,
All
and
right.
yeah, he's a really nice bloke actually.
Yeah. He's
But
Swiss, isn't he?
he's Swiss, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the most amazing thing to me was I hadn't seen him for probably almost a year from the last time I'd seen him. And as I went to the hotel where I was staying in Manchester, he was actually in the foyer with a couple of others, another researcher, I can't think what her name was now. But as I walked in, I said, "Oh, Mr. Onianika, hello, nice to see." He said, "Yes, I remember you," and that really blew my mind.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
someone like him was meeting people all the time. It amazed me. I thought, wow, you remember
Yeah.
me? Or unless he was just being kind, I don't know. But no, he's always been a
Yeah.
hero of mine.
So, oh, great. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know how my dad came across him, but he read his book in the early 70s, the Chariots of
Well,
Gods.
I don't know if you know, but they did a newspaper. When that book first came out, or it was coming out, they did a newspaper article. I don't know if it was in the Sunday Mirror or something like that. I think it was because my dad used to read that, and I started reading because like they did it every Sunday, a bit of it every Sunday sort of thing for a month or 6 weeks or whatever. And that's where I first started reading about it.
All right.
And then I wanted
Oh,
to get the book, of course. It was like
yeah.
an advert for the book, if you like.
All right. Yeah. Well,
So,
anyway,
so
my
that's
dad read
probably where
it.
that's probably where your dad got it from as well.
Yeah, and he was very deep thinking. He was very ambitious. He had no education. He had childhood polio, and he had to do a lot of
Because you've
physiotherapy
got,
and
you've got itchy
exercising.
foot.
No, yeah, my dad had childhood polio. He had to do lots of physio. He did lots of swimming, and he missed so much primary education. He left school with no education, no
All right.
qualification, and he went to evening classes and worked his way up, and he ended up getting I think I don't know, higher national diploma. I think he got in engineering. He was a civil engineer. Um, and he was very deep thinking. He wasn't religious. He wasn't Catholic. He was nominal C of E, but didn't go. But he really did believe in God. He wrote poetry, and some of it was very spiritual. And he did paintings and always doing lots of gardening. He was someone who never sat still, but he was obviously very intelligent.
Hmm.
And yeah, after he read Eric von Daniken, he was very open-minded. In a lot of ways, he was far ahead of his time. He was always helping people, and yeah. But yeah. So he gave the book to me, and I read it, and that kind of got me thinking even more about things.
Hmm.
but I didn't do very much about it. And I was in the Catholic religion, and although a lot of things I didn't agree with, there were lots of good things about it as well. And I thought, well, I'm just going to take away things that I think are good for me, and the things I don't agree with, I'll leave behind.
Mm,
No other religions really
mm,
appealed. Um, and then, yeah, it was around about the millennium when I heard that my cousin was having visions and messages from spirit, and I really wanted to find out what that was all about. And then when I found out that, that just changed everything, and we all ended up leaving the church. My cousin still has links with the church, and she works with people in there. For me, that is a finished chapter in my
mm.
life. Long time ago now.
Why was it?
Uh,
Why did that turn you against the church, I wonder? Mind you, I've got my own
um,
reason because I mean but I was actually in the Church of England as well myself. I was actually baptised and all that sort of like, and I was actually the catechism and everything. So I was actually a confirmed member. But I left it as well when I wasn't really in it for very long, I must admit. But I was about 15. I decided that what a lot of what I was hearing wasn't for me, much the same as you did. You know, and
no,
I sort of going my own way as well. So
yeah,
I can see where you're coming from.
yeah.
But do you
Well, I mean,
actually know what turns you against it?
yeah, absolutely. They just don't tell all the truth. They've got the
Mm,
truth, but they won't tell it.
mm,
And then they persecute people, and they say, "Oh, we
mm.
love for everyone." Well, they actually haven't. Well, in my opinion,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not talking about the individual members because it is a broad church, and they've got all
yeah, of
sorts of
course,
opinions.
of
And if you
course, yeah.
interviewed 100 Catholics about what they thought about all different things, you get 100 different
Oh, of
answers.
course, yeah. I mean, we're not, you
Um,
know, not saying there's nothing personal involved
no, it
about it.
isn't personal at all. But as an institution, I think it leaves a lot to be desired.
Mm,
Um, um, and I think, yeah, having read David Icke's books as well, and not just him, but other people have exposed things. Well,
yeah.
there's such terrible things going on, and it's not
I'm a
being.
big follower of David Icke. He's somebody else I've met and spoken to a few times,
Yeah,
and
I've met him once as well.
he's actually brilliant. He's absolutely
Yeah,
such a nice bloke, and
yeah,
you know he's got time for everybody. You don't sort of there's no sort of ego with him at all.
yeah, yeah. I'm that's it. When with this with my cousin started, I think it was the second time we got together. And we were doing a meditation. Well, we are going to do a meditation, and I went into the bathroom, washed my hands, came back. I thought, oh, my hands feel really tingly. I thought I was stopping a moment, but it didn't. It got even more tingly. And then I could feel this tingling sensation going all over my body. It's like a wave of energy going around. So I said, oh, I can really feel this energy. And one of my aunts said, well, that's the Holy Spirit. You know, that's the power of healing. And uh, some of the members of the family were already starting to do healing. We called it healing with the Holy Spirit at the time. So that's how, as a family group, we got into healing.
Hmm.
And we still do when um, there's only about five of us left now. So things have got a bit disjointed. So we don't meet very often now, but when we do, we send out healing to the world. Good vibes. I've kind of lost my thread a little bit.
No, that's all right. No, I understand. I understand exactly where you're coming from.
Oh yeah, the second.
It's like that intention thing I mentioned earlier, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's like a focus point.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Go on, sorry,
yeah.
carry on.
I think maybe the following time we got together and we were doing a meditation, and that's when the name David Icke came into my head, and I thought, all right, I've got to go and find his books and read them. So I
Hmm.
did, and that really did. I got fascinated. Well, I still am in a way, but I got a bit over fascinated, I think, at the time with the worldy stuff
Hmm.
and what he'd exposed. And I'm not saying 100% of what he writes is the truth because I don't know, but
Very
I'm
much of it
sure.
has come true, and is coming true. You know.
I know, and I think he's done such a sterling job with
Hmm.
because there's lots of different authors and people speaking out in their own field, which is what we need.
Hmm.
But he's done research about all these different topics and brought them all together
Yeah.
so that people can see a bigger picture. And there's very few people who can do that.
Hmm. Yeah, I got into
That's
him quite late as well myself, to be honest. I wanted, I mean, I'd always sort of heard about David Icke, and everyone said about he thought he was God and all this sort of. I thought I didn't really go down that line,
hmm,
but I went to see him do an appearance in London, and he did 12 hours from 10 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the evening. And I would think 10 and a half hours of that he was speaking for,
yeah, yeah.
you know.
I saw him at Wembley Arena in 2012.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, same there. He was speaking for so many hours. It was such a long day. And
with no notes, and
no script.
I
No,
never saw
no,
him
just
take I
no.
never
Come
saw him
up.
take a drink of water or anything, you know. Quite
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I think a lot of people get him wrong as well. And then some of the
Oh, definitely, yeah.
people say, "Oh, yeah, I've read his books, but he doesn't give anyone any hope." Well, actually, he does.
It
So they
does
obviously haven't
actually.
read it properly.
In all
So
of them,
I
they've
would,
got hope.
people say that to me, and I always say to them, "Well, make sure you read the last chapter of his books because that's how he tells you how to get out of
Yeah.
this
Oh,
nightmare."
he's always talking about love and everything, isn't he? Like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most important thing is love and everything.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
think on that note, I think we're sort of running out of time, John.
Right.
So I told you to go quick, didn't I?
It does go quickly.
So we might have to do this again sometime.
Okay.
But it's been a great having you on anyway. Now, again, anyone watching this, if you're interested in coming on and having a chat like I've just been doing with John, please get in touch with me. You can email me or grab me at the one of the talks or whatever, or email Dave Hobbs or anybody. If you're interested in coming on, we can have a chat and you can come on and sort of tell everyone about your experiences or interests and everything. So, anyway, that invite is open to anybody. All right. So, John, it's been fantastic talking to you. We'll
Yeah,
be
you too, David.
seeing you again in a couple of weeks. Indigo
Yeah.
Phoenix is our next guest. It's a change from our published program, but we've had to swap the names about because someone couldn't do a talk, so we've had to hurriedly try to swap them about. So it's Indigo Phoenix. And she's brilliant. She's a white witch, and she's a personal friend of mine. So I'll be bringing her. But
Oh, I'm going to miss it. I'll be in Devon.
well, it'll be filmed anyway.
Right.
So, which
Okay.
unfortunately you're going to miss it then. That's a shame. But because she is absolutely amazing. She's in Africa at the moment. But
Oh,
anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for having the patience to come and listen to a couple of old blokes talking. But anyway, we'll see you at the next meeting, John. And thanks
yeah.
everyone for watching, and
Hey,
see you
yeah.
again soon.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye bye.